Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Connecting Life podcast. I'm your host, Diana Boskma, and I'm here to help you connect the dots of life so that you can live your best life in a healthy and fulfilling way. Today, I'm talking with James Miragliotta, and he's a really nice colleague of mine, a friend, and also an executive business coach. And James, would you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. And good morning for me. Good afternoon for you. In short, I've been blessed. I had a blessed life early on in my life. Grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, and to an extremely lively family, academic family. Thanks to World War II, my dad became a lawyer, and my father, my mother, and my two sisters were all lawyers. So I learned to argue and plead my case early on in life. But things seemed to fall in place when I was younger. Got a scholarship, went to a boarding school, and opened up a different world for me. Met people that I never would have met. And following that, I got a chance to, after college, to play basketball in Europe. So I got to play in Spain and Italy. Fill a dream. I was too short to play in the United States, but certainly got that chance, and I wouldn't have given that up for anything. It gave me an international view that I got to take through my life, and it affected my career. So after doing a short stint after basketball and marketing in the early high-tech days, worked with a lot of the early companies. I got the itch to join the family and become a lawyer, and went through that. And in hindsight, I always say that's when I turned originally from an optimist to a pessimist. Learned to tell people why they couldn't do things and all the problems and the pitfalls. But for almost 3 decades, I was an attorney. Did international law, mainly business law. Had offices here and in Mexico, and just got to meet some amazing people and do amazing things. And around that time is when I learned that business was my thing, helping businesses, and that's really when I started coaching almost 30 some odd years ago. And it was before the IFC, the ICF. Before
ICF,
the ICF, and coaching was just consulting back then. And being a lawyer, it really played well because you learned to ask questions, and you learned to get the problem behind the problem. There was always a problem that they told you on the stand, or a statement, and there was always something behind it.
There always is,
So that was a great career. I retired in 2006, and at that point I decided I was done with telling people why they couldn't do things, and I put my whole focus towards finance and business development, and got to travel all around the world.
Nice.
And do some amazing projects all around the world, meet some amazing people, and what a learning opportunity. And that's one thing I did get from my family is that learning. Never stop learning. Every opportunity we go into, don't go into it as the expert, going into it as a student.
You learn so much more that way.
For sure. So life was amazing. Found me in 2009. I was visiting Florida, and at that point, I met an actress that swept me off my feet. She had done movies and a few other things larger than life. And we ended up getting married. And what I didn't know, unfortunately, was she was schizophrenic. Learned that 2 years into our marriage, and more over the 12 years we were together, 9 years of marriage, I became a caregiver. It opened my world up to mental illness and to empathy. In business, I was a hired gun. So for me, it was not a lot of emotion, not a lot of human connection. Get in, get out, and get the job done. So my life changed. culminating in March of 2023. Her condition had gotten to the point where it was pretty bad. I had her set up in a separate room, and one night I forgot to lock the door, as I had done every day for years, just in case. And unfortunately, at 3:00 in the morning, she was in the midst of an episode, and I was literally stabbed to death. Every major organ in my body, thank God, except my heart. It was amazing experience in that I was airlifted. First time I ever had a flight in a helicopter. And I also learned at 6'4", I was 3 inches too long for the helicopter. So it was interesting, them trying to get me in. But I was in a coma for 2 days. And during that 2 days, I, whatever you believe, I was connected to the cosmic consciousness. I made it to the edge of heaven, if that's what you believe, as I do. And for 2 days, I had this experience, and I wouldn't stop moving my hand. So the doctors literally put a pen in my hand, a marker, and a ream of paper. And for 2 days in a coma, I was scribbling notes. And it came to be, it was what I was experiencing when I was seeing. I was scribbling notes. And 2 days later, when I awoke to hearing the doctor tell my daughter that I would be a vegetable for the rest of my life, that I wouldn't be able to walk, talk, spend the rest of my life in a nursing home, and not to have too much hope. And I can remember thinking that, and then just instinctively, the first words out of my mouth were, "I need a pen and paper." To which the doctor was absolutely shocked. He goes, "What did you say?" And went on. They gave me the pen and paper, and I had to write down. I had this urge to write down what I had experienced during those 2 days. And that's when someone, again, whether it's cosmic energy or a God, I had no pain medication after all those injuries and multiple surgeries. They said I wouldn't walk for 7 weeks. I was up in less than 3 days. I was supposed to be in the hospital for 2.5 months. I was out 2 days before 3 weeks hit.
Sounds like divine intervention.
Two studies, and it took until the doctors just declared it unexplainable miracle. And that basically is what it is. Yeah. But it changed me. It changed me profoundly.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is I was always ego driven. I needed to be the loudest in the room. I needed to be the big gun. A good defense was a good offense, and that's how I lived my professional life. And I found my ego was the first thing to somewhat leave me.
That's beautiful.
Appreciation of the connections around me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what led me to where I met you and coaching and pursuing a different type of coaching. I was always a business coach, which was more solution oriented. And this was more just being curious about people.
Yeah. Which is quite an interesting way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely found myself, I was always the person that, you don't mess with other people. You don't bother them. You just stay in your lane. And overnight, I became that guy at the supermarket that talks to strangers in line. And at a coffee shop, we'll strike up a conversation. And I met some amazing people.
That's what happens then. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you go back through your life and you say, wow, I was an introvert, and what did I miss? How many people did I miss speaking to? How many amazing stories?
Yeah.
Well, so
we can't go back. So let's just do it now. Yeah. Let's just keep doing it.
Exactly, Diana. Yeah. Now is the word. I think that's the perfect word.
Yep. It's only about right now. We don't have what was, and we don't have what will come. There's just now.
And I guess that plays a lot into my main area of coaching, which is leadership.
Yeah.
And the old ways of leadership, I think universally are being found not to serve people anymore.
Yep. I've
The
noticed
idea
that.
of this, yeah, the strong taskmaster, do
Mm-hmm.
what I say, don't question me.
Yeah. Doesn't work.
Yeah, that leads to burnout, leads to turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's very counterintuitive. But the executives we work with in the organizations, we have a training arm, so we do corporate training and team building.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is through my coaching firm, Kaizen Mastery Group,
Yeah.
and just some amazing coaches, consultants, and trainers that have come together, and really teaching. We teach leaders to number one, be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Again, counterintuitive, but those leaders that show their teams, their
Yeah.
employees, that they do make mistakes, that they own those
Mm-hmm.
mistakes, and that they need help, are the
Yes.
leaders that get the most loyalty from
Yeah,
their
you
teams.
start respecting them because they're open, they're honest, and that's what we need.
For sure. And starting cross-functional teams, letting teams work together, letting
Mm-hmm.
teams know the other part, not to have the blinder on like a horse going through the park. That
Yeah.
take the blinders off and let them know where their
Yes.
place is in the whole process, and
Yeah.
they take ownership.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it makes the more you know about what the people around you do, the more you can also make sure that the people around you can do their job right because you can anticipate what they need from you, and it makes companies just work so much more smoothly. Yeah, I've seen that happen in a couple of the companies where I worked at, where they were really working together instead of we all have our little corners of it and let's not touch anything. It tends to not work so well.
For sure. Being a leader is a lot like being a coach.
Yeah.
A good leader brings out the best in their
Yes.
employees.
Yes.
Um, and I find the leaders that buy into that are the ones that are constantly amazed and surprised
Mm,
at what their employees do
yeah.
when they're given that room to be creative, um,
Yes.
to affect the process.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I did a
they
coaching
take
program about that at some point. That was really fascinating about how to help executives become better and more effective leaders. And also that was talking about exploring with your employees and then innovating with them and, going through some steps when you were in meetings to make sure that everybody feels heard and things like that. It was amazing.
you know it goes beyond business, and I think
Hmm.
when you look at our educational system, there's two ways of learning. Here's something, memorize it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you tend to forget as much as you memorize because you're just memorizing it to regurgitate it,
Yep.
rather than a more Socratic method of asking
Hmm.
questions
Yes.
and internalizing the information, forming an opinion, and then explaining that.
Yep.
Again, you're taking ownership of that, and you tend to remember that more.
Yes.
Um, so
Yep.
there's that correlation through life.
Yeah. Yeah. It certainly is a much. It's a much nicer way to learn as well when you can do it through kind of like a conversation when you have that with a group of people, discuss things and then bounce ideas back and forth and then research it together, see what's really true of what you've just come up with. Yeah, my kids like doing that too. We've done that a lot.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned your kids because, being a parent, there's a lot of parallels.
Hmm.
And even with your children, those lessons that they learn, it's that moment where you say, I've got to let them fall, because
Hmm.
that's when they learn. They're going to get up, they're going
Yeah.
to figure a way around. And as much as you want to solve the problem and avoid that,
Hmm.
in a lot of ways, that's a disservice, because that
Hmm.
lesson will not be learned. And that's a
Yeah.
lesson that we learn that take us through life.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I've started saying to people around me is that you either learn or you succeed. But when you succeed, you don't really learn. So you just do the steps to do it right, but you don't figure out things around it. So it's at times much better to mess up and learn a lot than to right away succeed, because it doesn't really bring you anything extra. My kids appreciated that comment.
No, it's it's all learning. And starting this firm, and for me, it was one of the things that I came back from my experience, and it was in me that this firm would be built. But we've created ourselves as a lab, that by looking inward and by creating programs around making us better as a firm, as a organization, we're able to take those out. And it's like doctors being the worst patients. Coaches are really good at sometimes at asking the right questions and being empathetic, but don't necessarily turn inward with the same advice and the same patience. And it really has been a process of, as a leader of the firm, I'm letting people know it's okay to be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is okay, especially when you're starting something new. We view ourselves very much as disruptors. We're doing this a little differently than the traditional one-on-one model. We've started this holistic firm that handles everything from life coaching to finance.
That's cool.
And I felt as a coach that I had a longing after working with clients. They would find their epiphany. They'd find what they want to do with life. Yeah. And they would start to make a plan. And then I sort of would leave them because, okay, now they've made the full arc over 6 months, 8 months. They've got their idea. They're motivated. But then they were just sort of off on their own to do it. And we had this ability to help them with their business plan and then help them get financing and build leadership teams. Yes. And it's been nice taking that full arc. And
it's quite rewarding.
We had a lot of debates within our firm because there are those that coaching's pure coaching. You can't then tell people what to do. And we came to a understanding that like everything is a process, and there's a time for coaching. And then once they come to their realization, then there's a place for in-house to take them to that consulting and then to help them create, which is really neat. The creative process is what gets me going.
Yep. I have a few clients where I actually ended up first coaching, then they got their whole story right and everything, and they started working on it, but then they started struggling a bit. And then it became sometimes coaching, sometimes consulting, depending on their needs. And I'm not really into hugely business coaching or anything, but just helping them research things has been really, really interesting. It's been really amazing to see how their process then actually goes much faster than when I just leave them and we just continue coaching. So I've mixed and matched a bit as per the needs of clients, and it's been pretty cool to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of coaching's always has a place in business because communication is everything.
Yes.
And for communication to happen, you have to deal with ego. You have to deal with that whole the self-defeating thoughts, that having confidence in your idea, in yourself, and then communicating that and having the patience to disagree.
Yes.
And that's been my challenge. And that's something I work on all the time because that old bravado comes in with the ego. If I'm challenged, then I'm being my talent is being questioned, and I've started to enjoy it more. And it does take me back to being a lawyer where you'd fight your case to the death in court, and then afterward go out and have a beer or a coffee with opposing counsel, and that was it. There was an arena. You had your good fight, and then you moved on. And that's a good practice in business, I find. You have your spirited debate, and then you come together. You come to an agreement, and for the good of the company, you you all rally behind
Yeah.
what's there.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. In our firm, it's the one person that I would call the least business oriented, and someone Paula Sprunger, who's our communication expert. When we are having the most spirited debates, she has this calm that she cuts through. In a simple, I understand, but why does it really matter? She'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why does that really matter to you?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in the middle of a battle, and you ask yourself that question: why am I hot and bothered? Why am I holding on to this position so firmly?
Yeah. That's
And
always a
that's
really
the
good
magic.
question.
It's the magic of coaching, and
It is. Yeah.
that's where so many problems in business and life. If we just ask of ourselves those questions: is this worth it? Is this a hill I want to die on? And once I win this fight, what's the cost? Okay, so I've won my point, but now I've alienated my team.
Yep. It's with people who want to be right. Yeah, but this is how it's supposed to be. And then I have to say, is this really true? And then there's, what are you all about? And then starting to think about it. Is it really true? Are you really right? And there's usually multiple ways. I had recently a conversation with a client who saw two options. He either had to do that or he had to do that, but he didn't like either choice. And I had to think of what's choice number 3. And he had to say, is there another choice? Yes, there are many choices. And he really had started thinking about it. And then I had to say, oh, there's lots of choices. Oh, wait, I can do this, I can do that. And, oh, I don't have to stick to cultural rules. No, you can do whatever you want. It's your life. So it was really amazing to see that click of, yeah, I can work and personal life the way works for me. It doesn't have to be what anybody expects from me. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it was really cool. Just one question.
I love what you said, because that's, I think, what I like about coaching so much is when you said you could see the wheels moving in their head.
Yep.
It's those moments where you see the light bulb go off, or you just pose a question that sends them back into their mind, and that it's them versus them. So there's no third party. And you can see the discussion going on in their head, and then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off. And no, it's not really that important to me.
It's just amazing.
And those are the cues. Whether you're a good salesperson, sales is, I believe, I used to lecture on sales being everything. They said prostitution was the oldest profession. Well, what is that? Sales. But it's really coaching, because sales is convincing someone, or getting someone to convince themselves that, what do I need? Do I want this? Do I need this? What is it going to fulfill? Where can I use this? And actually letting someone have that visual in their head of, oh, I can see myself in that car. Oh, I see myself in that lifestyle. I want to be on that vacation on that beach. And a lot of that's just coaching. It's asking the right questions. So I wish I knew it was coaching early on. When I started, and it would have. The other nice thing about coaching is as the coach, as long as you're open, you're never really wrong, because it's not about solutions.
No, it's about the journey, and
so if it really frees you up to be interested, and to take the journey with someone, and it can be quite emotional. It sounds detached, but once you connect on that level with someone, and in business, I see this too. Once you see that moment where a leader figures out, I've been doing it wrong. I'm losing my family. I'm losing my team. That introspect and how they change, and how they take ownership. is amazing. Just to see that transfer, and it's emotional.
It is,
as a
definitely.
coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite the amazing journey to have. What I find is to just be able to witness that, because it's not even my journey; it's someone else's journey. But I find so much joy in witnessing that journey of someone else, to go from where they were to finding the solutions within themselves, usually, because it doesn't require anything from me other than poking their brain a little so that they think a bit more or a bit different.
I think there's a need right now in society in general. We are in such an angry time, and
Yes.
communication's breaking down.
Yeah.
There's very much a us versus them mentality, and
Yes.
it's really through that curiosity,
Yeah.
that empathy of just asking questions instead of, most wars are started by people, by miscommunication or by fear, which a
Yes.
lot of times just communication it comes down
Yes.
to.
Yep. It really does.
And,
Yeah.
and so that's my hope is coaching. Coaching has many forms, and there's a school of thought of coaching is just asking questions, and I think in my heart I think it's going to evolve, because I think coaching is such a powerful tool,
It is.
that it can be blended with active consulting, teaching, and blending the two of a healthy dose of letting someone come to their epiphany and then assisting them to bring that to reality.
Yeah.
So,
That
for
can be
me,
a really beautiful journey.
yeah. So I see that as somewhat for me as the future of coaching, and as I go to more programs, seeing more people coming out of the corporate world, that they have solutions. These, they're not afraid to offer the solution once the client comes to the epiphany that they need help and own what the issue is.
Yeah.
So
I think in business coaching that works incredibly, and executive coaching as well, because those people, they're looking for a solution but cannot fully find it themselves at times, but they know that they need something. So then when an idea gets brought in, because it's one of those things that I really like to do, is where you do it, the yes and game. It's where you together brainstorm. And I've done that with a couple of people over the years who were in need of something like that. And then it can be all kinds of crazy ideas, but at some point you're going to narrow it down to some things that are really workable, and that makes it really cool. You can do that with teams as well, so it's always a really cool thing to do, I find. Yes, that sounds good, and this, and then keeping on going. Yeah, it can be amazing.
For sure. And I think you've been doing it for a while. So once you get to know a client too, sometimes you have that liberty too to call them out.
Yeah.
And the simple question of, is that really what you think? Or is that, and they'll laugh a lot of times, because you have this, we all want to please. So, you even find them telling you things as a coach that they think you want to hear. Okay, well, this is what they want to hear. And it's our job to somewhat, be detached and ask those questions. Yeah, sounds good to me, but I'm not the one being coached. How does it sound to you?
Yeah. Yes, at times the piercing questions, they can be really interesting, because some people do start to get into the trying to please the coach type of thing, and that's not really what it's about at all. It's definitely about their own journey. But I've seen it happen, and then calling them a bit out on it in a gentle way does work.
Yeah. In the business world, we're taught to be warriors, taught to be aggressive. And one of the big pieces I had put out, and it's been neat lately. It got over, one of the things that got the most responses from a blog article I had put out on LinkedIn, It got 1,800 responses. And it was just the exercise of before you go home, taking those minutes, take a walk around the neighborhood, do your breathing exercises, changing from work mode to family mode. And that one topic hit with so many business people. These high-level business people.
And
it was like that secret that they thought it was just them. And and owning that, I bring that work persona home. I'm still the CEO when I walk in the door, and that causes problems. When a child just wants compassion, wife wants to tell her story of what happened to her for the day, or husband wants to tell wife that came home from work, and sort of allowing yourself to transition.
We all kind of need it at times. In the morning, we frequently need a bit of time to wake up as well. So it makes sense that you need to change direction in your mind as well. It's not just walking in and you're there. Frequently, we don't. It's like when you go to the theater, you're also preparing for that. And then you go to the theater or a dinner, you prepare for it. So it makes total sense to actually take a few minutes. It doesn't even have to be that long, but just a few minutes to come home instead of bring the office into the house. Because you drag a lot with you then.
Well, as coaches, even someone that works at home, it's that getting up, having a dedicated space, literally getting sometimes out of your pajamas, even though you can, just put on a shirt and just create that mental change. I'm now in this persona. I'm going to get work done. For productivity's sake of making that mental change and allowing yourself to not carry those roles into the rest of your life.
I learned that many years ago from that was actually a program about how to keep your house clean, and it was really interesting. So it was flylady.net even, and what she was talking about really hit me because I was just browsing through, and then it was this: get ready to the shoes to get ready for your day. So really prepare, make yourself ready for business. And I've worked in my PJs at times here and there because there was no calls, so I could. But it's a different level and you function differently. So I'd rather not. I'd rather really get ready for my day and get to business because that's what I'm doing. And it feels different. It literally feels different. That doesn't mean I always need to, do it perfectly like the way she described, get ready to shoes. I'm not really, so it's a part of me that I really feel that needs to be ready. The rest doesn't matter that much. And that's different for everybody. But it's really fascinating to see what a difference it makes to just get ready for the day, for the work that you're going to do.
Total mindset. And again, I think that's that, not just to advocate for coaching, but that's where coaching has a special place, because for business people, to tell them to go to a therapist, that's sometimes a bridge too far. In their mind, it shows weakness. It shows a defeat. Whereas coming in as a business coach, you can sort of come in the back door and ask those questions. And invariably, conversations change from business to personal.
They do.
As they feel comfortable and open up. And I think it helps their life. It helps the quality of their life. And if the quality of their life improves, it's going to make their team and their company function better because they're calm. They're well adjusted.
Yep. And that's an important part of being able, because that's one thing that I found with the leaders that I've worked with, either in previous jobs or as a coach, is when a leader can be fairly calm and collected, it just makes such a difference in any meeting that they have. I've had at some point a conversation with someone who really could not sit still, was not calm, was totally stressed out. And then it was this thing of, we're not going to go anywhere this way. We're going to have to find a way to calm down first before we can even have a discussion about this. And that was in work. It was about work that I was going to do for them. But there was just no clarity in what had to be done. So they said, let's just calm down a bit. Let's just relax, talk about it. So we did some breathing together to make it work. And that was quite fascinating, because at that point, I was not coaching. I was just the secretary. So it was a different way of dealing with things. But I really had to take that step as in, come on, let's sit down, let's breathe a bit, let's calm down, let's land here before we have the conversation, because I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a conscious act. That's a
Mhm.
conscious decision to be calm.
Yeah.
There's some people that are blessed; they're naturally
Mhm.
calm. But
Yeah.
for a lot of us, I'm a Sicilian, 100% Sicilian, and I'm an ex-attorney. So if I can learn calm,
Yeah.
anybody can learn.
Yeah.
But it's that moment of that choice that
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow myself to
Mhm.
to let emotions take over.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when you stay calm how much more
Mhm.
you hear,
Yes.
and how much you're heard when you
Mhm.
stay calm.
It makes the world of difference. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. We've had quite the conversation. I realized that we've been talking about quite a few things, which is really cool. I really enjoyed talking with you about this, and I would like to know, when people want to contact you, how can they do this?
sure. At the Kaizen Master Group, our website is www. Don't want to leave off that last W. Kaizen, which is Kaizen, Mastery Group, Mastery Group.com. You can look us up online. And we have this amazing group located all over the map.
Nice.
And I would love just to have a conversation with people. That's what it's all about. That's what
Yeah.
brought us all to coaching.
Yes.
Is that curiosity and that desire to
Yeah.
listen.
Yes. That's definitely the biggest part of coaching. So, of course, I'll share the details in the description of the video so that people can just click, because that usually makes it a whole lot easier. And I want to thank you for joining me today, because this was definitely a really cool conversation about business, coaching, and consulting. So thank you very much for joining me.
It was an absolute pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Maybe another time we can do it again.
For sure.